Yo, your lens is dirty, Mike. How can we film with a dirty lens?
It's low aperture, baby.
Low aperture, whatever that means. Low light?
Yeah, sure.
Sure? Sure. Come on, Mike, I want to learn how to film. Are you filming a 60 frame per second?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, because that's what Adam loves, right?
Yeah, it is.
Perfect.
That's what he loves.
See, I know that.
Yep.
We got the pedal. Unfortunately, we got to go to the 90s with this damn car. So we don't have a drive-by-wire throttle body yet. So for now, we're going to do the cable pedal. So we got this aftermarket pre-made gas pedal. Made a quick bracket. I'm not gonna get fancy with it. It's just gonna get welded to the car. Then I could bolt it. So we gotta have a cable, and then we have throttle. And clutch pedals already installed with the aftermarket Tilton master, clutch master. Install the gas pedal, and then I'll move on to the rest of the car. So now we're technically inside the car. Right now we're doing things to get the car running and driving and get it to not its final stage, but to be able to get Mike down here and tune the car. Then we could test, and then from that test we're gonna make a list of things that we could improve on or change or leave alone. Take the car down, get spray, and then reassemble.
Today's video is brought to you by Athletic Greens. In my hand, I've got a bag of their AG1, which is a comprehensive daily nutrition made of 75 high-quality whole food sourced ingredients, including vitamins, minerals, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens that are curated to nourish all your body systems holistically. We're in the new year, and now's the time to start new essential daily routines. AG1 will help set our intentions and keep us moving in the right direction, because when we're feeling our best, we show up better. Starting the morning with a daily routine that's dedicated to your health will make us feel great and keep the positive momentum going. And what's great is in addition to the powder and scoops, they also have travel packs to help you stay committed to your intentions wherever you are when you need it the most. With the amount of traveling that I do, I'm always worried about getting sick. The immunity support that we can get from AG1 is really helpful to me, as well as the sustained energy, because my days are jam-packed and I can keep the choo-choo train going. It's an effortless daily habit, 8 to 12 ounces of water, 1 scoop of powder. Go to athleticgreens.com/AdamLZ to get started on your first purchase and receive a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. It's got a fun taste. We always argue whether it's more like pineapple or more like coconut, but I'm curious what you guys think, and I want to extend a massive thank you to Athletic Greens for sponsoring this video.
Got this tap. Catch it. Now we got all the bolts. I bet I went with the M6, so what color we should go, Mike?
Do you use a lot of zinc on the car or mostly just silver?
Good question. I use a lot of the OEM stuff.
Which would be silver.
Yeah. So,
probably stick with silver.
Yep. Right here. You gotta deduct it from inventory now. Put it on here.
Threads right in.
Thread in. Done. Now we build a quick, simple bracket that holds this on the car. This already has a pedal stop, so we don't have to put a pedal stop on the car. It has it right there, so that saves some work.
Yep, install it, adjust it.
Yep, and it'll be done. We got a bracket mounted. Bend this up real quick. I was gonna put a pipe to the car, but this will make it kind of strong just in case Sizzler had a heavy foot. Then I'll weld on top, weld on the bottom, and that'll be it. It'll be an easy bracket to cut off once we go drive-by-wire. So now just making sure I line it up somewhat in a good location and weld this plate in. I'm gonna weld this first to this one, and then I could weld the rest of the car. We'll drill the hole on the firewall for the throttle body cable. I don't think there's an assistant hole that I could use. There's a lot of holes in this firewall that have grommets.
Yeah.
But there's not one directly in front of this throttle cable, and I want it to be directly in front of it. So
yeah,
we'll just have to drill a hole and then close it later on. It'll work for now. fresh. Yo, I got a purple R32 outside. Slap that on there.
We're pulling out the big guns, and I really didn't want to do this because I know that it will probably be the fastest thing that has ever lapped the compound. We've got my Evo 5. It's still in its previous setup from Grid Life, so it's a bit higher on a bit wider, taller tires, which isn't the ideal look for me, but I do think it's probably the fastest the car's ever been on a street tire. It does have slicks. We're not using the slicks around the compound, but the only reason that I'm doing this is because the car is getting shipped out to take place in a very special event. And the last time I drove it, I don't know if I fully documented on camera, but it had quite a bit of leaks that were a bit random and seemed to be G related. We think possibly it might have something to do with the transfer case being a little bit overfilled, but the best way to figure it out is to shake it down, get some G's in it, throw it on the lift, take a look, and in the process, we're probably going to break the compound lap time record. So let's have some fun. Every time I drive it. It is so fast around this place, it's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's going to be the fastest car for sure.
No words. So other than this thing being fast as boy, the one thing that I'm trying to wrap my head around that was going on last time I drove it at Grid Life, when I'm in some like heavy G braking scenarios, it almost feels like the motor's becoming disconnected from the driveline, as if the clutch was slipping on decel. I tried to like think about it really hard for a few minutes, and the only thing that I can theorize is that because I have a one-way in the front, which unlocks under decel, and then I have like a pretty weak LSD in the rear, it's a reshimmed Evo 8 diff, that possibly under braking scenarios, while I'm also in a really like high G, the inside wheels aren't really making that much contact on the ground. So it's as if my car is stuck in the mud and I have no drive wheels, so it allows the engine to disconnect itself from the drive line in theory, and allows the RPM to fall faster than the wheel speed. Because what happens is you brake, you hear the engine RPMs fall faster, and then when you get back on the throttle and re-engage that front diff, then it like brings the RPMs right up, which is like this really bizarre feeling. Maybe there's some Evo experts that can chime in here on what's going on. I feel like the solution would probably be to put a proper LSD in the rear, or one that's like shimmed a bit more aggressively. But it's just a really weird phenomena that's like kind of hard to predict when I'm driving. It hasn't really made me make any mistakes, but I want to figure it out because it's kind of bizarre. Well, I was wrong yet again. Second place. 992 Turbo 2919, Evo 5 2924. Also, you guys told me my math was bad, so I'll rearrange this and rewrite it. Bigger picture, I'd love to get a television screen up here so I don't have to keep on erasing and removing things. We still need to address some things on the Evo, namely I'm changing to a different tire. I'm gonna put some NTO1s on it, which will probably pick up some speed, and then addressing a few little alignment tweaks. So I'm pretty confident the next time I take it out for a shakedown, I can definitely beat the 992 Turbo S time, but definitely goes to show how fast that car is. If like pretty much first lap out, it's almost as fast as the fastest car that I own. So what's in store at X? I don't know, but you guys do if you keep watching. Little quick update on the R33. Sean's been going to town, our resident RB expert. One cool thing that he found, I'll pull up a cell phone clip from his video.
Yo, this ported, cuz. Little port action.
The head was actually hand ported on this, and it looks like it was done pretty recently. So I think this engine's had a pretty recent overhaul, and we still don't know if it's a stock crank, if it's a 2.7 crank, but she's spicy. It worked in handy too that I had a lot of the stock turbo lines that were already refinished from my R34 GTR. So that plus new covers for the HKS turbos, looking good. And then we just got our shipment in of all the fresh powder coated bits. So rather than leaving everything raw aluminum with the color scheme we're going with, everything got done in a powder coated wrinkle black. It's gonna look really good. Don't know what color to do it yet, but just got one of these too. Old logo, Nismo strut bar with a brake stopper. Gotta keep it spicy. And then we got some fresh powder coat on the wheels too. So I just ordered some new stickers. So they will be looking brand new, super fresh. This is my favorite part. Fresh powder coat on the wheels, new stickers. If you've ever put stickers on Regamasters, you'll know that it's probably one of the hardest wheel stickers to put on. I do have a little tip for you though. It's real flimsy when you peel it off, and it's very overwhelming because once it sticks to the wheel, you're pretty much stuck. I usually use like a reference photo, but the trick for me has always been to lay down the inside line. So kind of find the right place and then only press on the lower line and use the guide marks to follow it to make sure that it's even around the whole wheel. Then once you have that, you kind of have your placement, and then you just slowly work and stretch because it's so thin. It'll kind of stretch and lay down, and because you have that inner line, you know that you won't have like any weird radius or like bends in it. First time I did this on wheels, it came out like crap. I like to think that I'm a little bit experienced at this by now. And then now, look, pretty much a perfect radius with a really thin sticker, and it's really hard to do, but you want to make sure you rub it in good because these ones have a tendency to peel up, and these stickers are very expensive and you don't want to mess it up. Me and Mike had to peel them off with that other wheel. I don't know if we included the process, but
yeah,
it was like
we mentioned how sucky it is.
yeah, if you mess up, you're gonna spend like hours taking it back off.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty happy with that.
No, that was awesome.
I usually am not like a super big fan, but I think because of the fact that the car's red, the stickers tie in with it.
Yeah.
Inside the car, we're mounting the seat to the A90, and I kind of already did one side, and the easier solution is we're using the Titan Motorsports chassis seat bracket to run the aftermarket seats, but then we're running the Ricardo side brackets. The easiest solution I found was to be able to, because it was gonna get hard to fasten this bracket, but then fasten this bracket to the Ricardo to the chassis bracket. And my first initial plan was to drill a hole, tap and put a nut, or tap this bracket to fasten this to this. In the front, that's what I did. There was already a hole that lined up with the factory hole for the chassis. I just marked it on the bottom and then, marked the shape. So now the rear mounts straight to the chassis, and you still got that wiggle room like the Titan bracket does. And then the front, I just drill and put a nut on the bottom, so that then you have a regular bolt on the top. And that way it's possible to get your hands and a tool in here when you get this hardware in the car to remove the seat, but there's plenty of space so that you can remove the seat on the sides and then remove the bracket. So now I'm repeating everything on this side, then we can mount the seat. The passenger side will be slightly different because there's no clearance for the cage, so the seat will sit slightly forward. Therefore, this bracket will sit forward on the Time Motorsports seat brackets. Alright, so for this, I don't have a countersink bolt. Before I do a full weld on it, I like to make sure that this comes out and it engages good without the bolt binding on the bracket. But so now that we have Andy's from Bolt and Nuts, I checked our kit and it has a countersink M10, but not the right thread pattern. We have it in 1.5, but I needed a 1.25 countersink bolt. And what it does is, imagine this, but with a threaded on the side. You will put your nut on the one side and then the countersink bolt on one end, and you tighten it, and it would center the nut to the bracket.
That makes sense.
So because I don't have it, and I had some laying around that I used for these purposes, I lost it. When I don't have that, I tack weld the nut and then remove the hardware to make sure it goes in and out, no problem. But if you do have a countersink bolt and you're welding nuts behind plates, use the countersink bolt to get your nut center to the base plate before welding it.
I'm so stoked on how this thing's coming out. We were torn on the valve cover color at first, and we're like kind of debating between doing like a black or a silver, but the color matches are gonna look sick once we have all the other black bits in it. As a reminder, every $5 you spend on lzmfg.com gets you entered for a chance to win this thing. We're gonna end the video short here so we can focus on the next video that you guys will see soon. Thank you for watching, bye.
Yo, your lens is dirty, Mike. How can we film with a dirty lens?
Everything.